Today, we got some great news in the NBA as it pertains to Damian Lillard. We're going to cover that, but first, make sure you do subscribe because 80% of viewers are not subscribed. They are absolutely missing out on the content Trevor and I put out on a daily as we keep you guys locked in and informed on the NBA. And we also drop some hot topics every now and again as well. So make sure you do subscribe. Also, hit that thumbs up. It's free. It does help the channel grow as well with the algorithm, all that stuff. So what is the news? Per Shams over on X today, he reported amazing news. Milwaukee's Dame has been cleared of his deep vein thrombosis and is no longer on blood thinning medication, sources tell ESPN. Lillard is out for game 1 Saturday against Indiana and will have a period of time to resume contact workouts and ramp up for return. He followed up, remarkable and historic. That's awesome. Remarkable and historic. Ooh. Developments to clear from the blood clot in just over 3 weeks. Doctors have told Bucks officials this recovery has never been seen before, but occurred due to early treatment, detection, and specialists working on Lillard even before formal diagnosis. So that last part, that actually, like, this whole paragraph actually gave me chills. That he was able to have a remarkable and historic, I quote, recovery. That's really cool. And I think the last part is really important. They were already treating him before he got formally diagnosed with the thrombosis. And I can't help but imagine, how his turnout would have been in terms of the timeline for him to return if they weren't already working on this and they didn't act swiftly with a plan, early treatment, detection, all that stuff. And that's really, really cool. There's 2 pieces of this, of course, his own individual health, which matters the most, of course, and then the basketball side. And for his own individual health, these things are scary, dude. These things are really, really scary. This could be a career-threatening, career-ending, especially as you're kind of older like Dame is. He's 34, 35. Could be a career ender. Who knows, right? So that being said, it's really cool that he is fully healthy, first and foremost. And then on the basketball side, he's back just in time for the most important time of the year. It's playoff time. And we need some Dame time in the playoffs. That's really exciting. So overall, I think this is great news. And Shams reporting it here today. I just said over 3 weeks. It wasn't even that long. I mean, we were talking about Dame potentially being out for a month, 2 months, few months. Who knows when he's coming back? These things, you never know, right? So really, really cool overall, like I said, that he is back. Now, there's an expanded story on this that I wanted to talk a little bit about that Shams had kind of put out. We're going to just briefly skim over it. But what I also want to do is I want to talk about the Bucks because we're talking about the Bucks today in this video, of course. And honestly, I don't know the last time Trevor and I talked about the Bucks. There's so many teams to cover. So we sometimes forget about certain things or don't talk about as much of the stories as often as we should. I want to talk about the way the Bucks have been performing this year, the way Dame has been this year, statistically at least. There's obviously not the eye test piece there as much because I haven't watched every single game that Dame has played this year. And also just the fact we don't talk enough about Giannis, at least I don't feel like we do, just in general. But yeah, so let's get to that in a minute. But Lillard won't play again, but he's going to start resuming getting back to basketball shape and getting ready for a return. He could be back as early as game 2, right? He could be back game 3. I'd say probably game 3 probably is a better, more likely outcome. But, who knows, right? Doctors have told Bucks officials that this has never happened before. The Bucks said Tuesday that Lillard was making significant improvements on his deep vein thrombosis and that the 9-time All-Star will increase his on-court activity, but did not offer a clear timetable for his return. The Bucks announced last month Lillard would be sidelined indefinitely. The team said at the time Lillard had been dealing with blood thinning medication or been using blood thinning medication to stabilize the clot. Doc Rivers added earlier this month that he was optimistic Lillard would return at some point, but acknowledged that the team was also prepared for the 9-time All-Star to miss the rest of the season. Lillard was averaging 25 points, 7 assists before being sidelined from Milwaukee's final 14 games of the regular season. The Bucks went 10-4 in those contests and ended the season on an 8-game winning streak. Okay, so the last part, that, again, mostly summarized in what we've already talked about, not much here in terms of new information, but the last part is important. So the Bucks this year, in games that Dame played, they were 32-26. So they did not have the best season with Dame out there. They were nearly 500. So just, handful of games above 500. They ended the season, very well. As we just saw, they had an 8-game win streak, things like that. They were really good towards the end of the season. One of the big reasons why is Kevin Porter Jr. stepped into a bit of a larger role, and he performed really well. I mean, he's interesting because he's somebody that has the talent. Dame, of course, but Kevin, he's somebody has the talent, but he's got other issues that kind of hinder, how much he's been out there and stuff like that. So, what he can be. It's just more or less, is he going to be able to play for you due to the other complications that could arise with him specifically? But he's been really good. Also, Giannis, like I said, I feel like Giannis needs more talk just in general. So Giannis the last couple of years has had the ball more and been more of an assist guy, and it's really been fun to see, like more of a point forward type guy. He's always been that. He's always hovered around 5.5 or so assists. But he's at 6.5 the last couple of seasons. And I really like that for Giannis. Just give him the ball and let him create. I love it. So Giannis is ridiculous, by the way. 30 and 12, 6.5 assists. I mean, a block, a steal, like he's ridiculous. But some of that's also just Giannis was ridiculous towards the end of the season as well. Now, what I would like to say on Dame specifically is, this is Giannis, my bad. Is Dame's numbers on the surface are largely in line with what you've seen from him a number of years of his career. I mean, 25 points, that's right on the career line, like 25 points. Most of his stuff is right on his career averages or right similar to it. 7 assists, just above that. The rebounds, same deal. He's mostly given you career numbers. Now, the games played is the third lowest number of his career, tied for second, I guess. Which all 3 of those occurred in the last 4 years. So it could be something to watch with Dame. I will say Dame, his ability to shoot, I think has been huge for him. He takes 9 threes a game, shoots 37% on those. Those are all extremely difficult shots too. He's a better shooter than that statistically, than what you would think statistically, right? 37% career number. But I think his ability to shoot has helped to stave off the typical small guard getting older syndrome that you would see, right? He came in a little bit older at 22 anyway. But the thing with him is that they've actually been worse with Dame on the floor, which is interesting as a whole. And you could contribute a lot of different factors to that, injuries or missing Bobby for a period of time or pre-coups versus post-coups. Like you can really break it down a number of different ways. So it's not really meant to talk bad on Dame, but I do think when they hit the playoffs, this will matter, right? I think that this will matter because you're going to hit a period where you're going to have to play Dame, assuming he's fully ready, right? You ramp him up, maybe he's low 30s. But eventually, if you're going to get where you want to get, you're going to need to play Dame 38, 40, 42 minutes a night. But on the year, they were barely plus 0.8. Plus 8 is really good, but plus 0.8 with Dame on. And some of that's also getting carried by Giannis. Now, again, in the playoffs, this isn't as big of a deal because you're going to play both of these dudes 40 minutes a night together most of the time. You're not going to have many situations where they're not both on the court together, but you do need to stagger your superstars if possible. And the lineups this year where they tried to stagger these guys with Giannis off were -7. There was one lineup that got 250 possessions with Brooke, Gary Trent, Green, and Portis with Lillard. That was actually a +20. They were blistering hot on offense. So maybe that was a little bit of fool's gold or something they could turn to. I'm not sure. But that is something that I would like to point out with Dame. While his numbers look great on the surface, his advanced numbers, all that stuff, they are a little bit sketchy there. And he's not performed up, at least not been able to carry the rest of the roster the way that you would like him to. And if we flip this, and this isn't, obviously there's a huge chasm in who's better between these two, but if we flip this, just to credit Giannis a little bit here, if we flip it, Giannis on, Dame off, they're ridiculous. 99 percentile points per possession in most of the lineups, or the last couple of, the most used lineups, excuse me. They are +9, right? Like that, they're ridiculous in those lineups as well. But when they're both on the court together, like I said, in most cases, it's not a huge bonus. But really, how do you fill out the rest of the team around these guys? I think that matters a lot. But I think they spent a lot of time, as you can see, 32 and 26, kind of struggling to figure out the right balance and ways to go. And some of this 32 and 36, now that I look at it again, was just that extremely slow start to the season also. They started the season extremely slow, similar to Philadelphia. They're +5 with both those guys on. similar to Philly, they started extremely slowly, so that's probably a big part of it as well. But I do think there is room for improvement, and I do think they will get better as the year goes on with those guys out there together. And just last thing here, again, Dame has had a really weird season. Points per possession is in the 49th percentile, which is ridiculously low for him. He's always 90, around 90 plus, right? Around 90 plus. The diff, first year in his career where he's expecting you to lose games. You're -7 expected wins. That's ridiculous, right? Like, so been a weird year for him. But again, I do think Dame is going to be huge for this team in the playoffs. I do think they're going to have to find a way to play these guys together if they're going to get where they want to go. I don't know that this team is good enough to win a chip, but who knows? I mean, shit, with Giannis playing the way he's playing, I couldn't tell you. If Giannis is gonna put a 31, 12, 6.5, like, that's crazy. If Dame matches that with 28, 30 points, I mean, that could be crazy. But they're gonna need the continued production of some of the other guys that have played well for them, like Taurean Prince has been shooting the ball really, really well for them this year. They're gonna need Kevin Porter to keep doing what he's doing. Some of the other guys as well, too. Kuz is going to have to play a big role as well. Portis as well. So we'll see what happens with this team. But overall, again, back on Dame. Excited to see him back out there for the Bucks. And I'm extremely excited that he was able to get fully healthy as well. So make sure you do subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Check out our recent video on Kevin Durant potentially winding up a Houston Rocket. Yeah,